Alright, Shalom. All praise unto Yahweh Shemi Shai. Okay, double honors to the apostles of GMS. Honors you brothers will be pushing this truth in sincerity. Okay, so I've got this article here, and this is an exemplification of how Esau's society is built to enslave you. Okay, and pretty much this is dealing with the monetary system. Okay, and the evaporation of self-discipline. Okay, and when you go into the scriptures, namely in the book of Wisdom of Solomon, um, where is it? The fifth chapter. Okay, I think it's in the fifth chapter. I'll go to it right now and see it, because you got two things you could do right here. Okay, within this society, you can go and try and be some famous musician and or athlete or whatever, and Esau will give you the money to sell out your own people. Or you could serve Yahweh Shimi Shai and store up your treasures within heaven. Okay, because as you're gonna see within this video, and Lord's will videos in the future that I'll do regarding with the monetary system, okay, is that this whole financial system is just it ain't worth working for. Okay, it ain't worth investing time into, because it's all fake. All right, it's unnatural. Okay, when we was dealing with the barter system, okay, you was dealing with a system. Okay, uh, uh um it's muff and rust whilst I do that. I can't. There we go. All right, when you was dealing with a barter system, you had a system where someone was actually trading something that's of an intrinsic value for something else of another intrinsic value. Okay, so what Esau's got you doing right here now is working under the illusion, of free money or credit and so on and so forth, because you work a certain job for Esau's companies and so on and so forth, then you got more access to credit. In other words, if you get some of them so-called high-paid employees and so on and so forth, and you wonder why they were in debt, well, guess what? When you have more money accessible to you, you have more credit accessible to you. So what a lot of people find, because they don't have the discipline, okay, when it comes to this, really discipline period, as you're going to see within the scriptures, because the scripture deals with discipline, and you really apply the analogy of wealth, okay, and you marry it with this truth, with the understanding of this truth, the wisdom that you have to apply to understand this truth, okay, thus liken unto a monetary gain, okay, and that's going to manifest itself within the kingdom, all right, as wealth, okay, as women, okay, houses, riches, and so on and so forth, as we're going to see within this scripture right here in the book of Matthew, the 6th chapter and the 19th verse. It says, "Lay not up your treasures upon the earth, where moth and rust doth corrupt." And what you have now is you got a lot of people working really hard for these so-called high-paid jobs, and then they get all kind of debt and so on and so forth, which is all a systematic ploy. Because in having you in mortgage arrears, or having you in a car loan arrears, you have a system where people always have to work and are completely dependent on the state, on their working environment, okay, on things as they are, for them to psychologically continue. In other words, when this chip is issued out, as pursuant to the book of Revelations, the 16th chapter and the 13th verse, when this chip is issued out, people are going to be more than willing to take that chip, because they have eroded their own discipline. In other words, being able to go out there and create wealth for themselves. Okay, whether it be through farming, okay, whether it be through trades, okay, skills and so on and so forth. Those kind of trades, those kind of skills have evaporated from the earth, and we have is a situation where people are completely dependent on people that issue out credit, right, to sustain, not even to sustain themselves, to live way beyond their means, which is a self-indulgent way to live. But Esau will have you in that state, because when he issues out, or rather when he brings about chaos, okay, because in order to bring chaos, you have to have something that's non-chaotic before, okay, and the more non-chaotic it is before, the more the chaos is going to be could be used as a means of leverage, as a means of a tool, okay. And that's what Esau is preparing you for. He's got it to where these people are borrowing and borrowing and getting even more and more into debt. Okay, getting acclimatized to having the 5-bedroom house with 2 cars, 3 cars. Okay, all right, more stuff than they could actually afford, all right, because when he's gonna bring out this chip, that's when he's gonna say boom, bam, okay. All right, now I'm gonna hit you with one. Now you're gonna be like, okay, how am I gonna sustain the lifestyle that I've grown acclimatized to? Although it was too far for me to maintain, or how am I gonna sustain that? And then the only means of sustaining any resemblance of that lifestyle is gonna be that RFID chip. Okay, so let's go into these scriptures right quick, and then we go into the article now. I'll go back and forth. So it says, "Lay not up your treasures up on earth, okay, where moth and rust doth corrupt, and where thieves break in and steal." And that's what's happening, okay? Because your value to these elite banking families is your work, okay? Your man hours, okay? So they're stealing your so-called time, all right? So you can maintain their so-called kingdom, okay? To keep working underneath their laws and rules, which are all unrighteous, okay? I don't know what that is, okay? Okay, it's a real player pop-up, okay? And it says, "Lay your treasures up in heaven," okay? So you're putting work into these scriptures, okay? Putting time into these scriptures, putting time into studying and so on and so forth. The scripture says that's what you're supposed to be aiming for. That was going to be the standard. That's what's going to be hot. Okay, that's what's going to be popping. Okay, because when them riches get stored up, when them riches get stored up, the scripture says how that they ain't gonna have it to where the moth nor the rust is gonna corrupt that, and they ain't gonna have it to where the elite banking family is gonna take away all the true things of value, diamonds, okay, rubies, okay, gold, silver, and lock them up in a vault for themselves, okay. You ain't gonna have that. You was gonna have it to where what? You was gonna enjoy that, and more so too, time. Because here it is, you're working X amount of hours, which you ain't really supposed to be doing that. You're supposed to be able to work and relax and chill and enjoy the earth. That's what the Most High made this earth for, man. Not for you to pay off some, persistently under some form of stress for thinking about paying this bill off and paying that debt off and so on and so forth. Okay, that's the state of being enslaved, and that's why the saying debt is the currency of slaves come into play. Matter of fact, let me type that out and see what we get. Okay, so if we go on to our Google, okay, we go on to Google. I don't know what those searches are, so I ain't even gonna press enter on that. Okay, so if I should be able to just click here. All right, what's going on here? Okay, so should be able to just go on Google and enter in that enter in that search, okay, and see where that originates from. So debt, currency of slaves. Okay, there we go. Let's see where this quote originates from. Okay. Yeah. So I heard this from yeah. I wonder who these are. Let's go back. Let's go back a bit. Who's this? Right, I wonder, who these individuals are. Okay, I don't know if those are actually still part of the flock. To be honest, I think them guys got kicked out. I'm not entirely sure if they're not, then apologies. But I do think them individuals got the boot, if I'm not mistaken. Nevertheless, we shall move on. Like I said, I lose track of who's, I really just try and watch the elders, because you don't know who's who and what's what anymore these days. But there's the main camps, Dallas, okay, London, okay, Atlanta, okay, and obviously the New York camps and so on and so forth. Those are people of renown, who I'm with have got the green light, for the Lord's will, till he comes back. So let's get back into this and not sidetrack too much with things that don't really matter. And so this is Norm Franks. What is it? France. Okay, it says gold is the money of kings, and I originally heard this quote from Elder Gabar. Okay. So it says gold is the money of kings. Okay, so who's the elite banking families? Okay, all right, Brother Mo, who's in power right now is pursuant to the book of Job, the 9th chapter and 24th verse. Well, the elite banking families are in charge right now. Okay, they're in control of the whole earth. Whatever pops off on the face of the earth, they're gonna be if it's beneficial to for their so-called new world order. Well, guess what? They're gonna be the ones benefiting off of it. Okay, so it says gold is the money of kings. Silver is the money of gentlemen. So the guys like you got your higher luminaries like the top dogs, the Rothschilds themselves, and you got the connected families underneath them, which will be known as what? As so-called noblemen and gentlemen and so on and so forth. But they're not right at the top. Well, their currency is what? Is dealing with silver. Okay, it says barter is the money of peasants. So even people that are just out on the outskirts of them elite banking families, they're dealing on a system of okay, we're gonna give you this much for this. Okay, we'll give you this land for those oil reserves or whatever. Okay, that's the currency of peasants, which is them heathen nations. But when you're dealing with the Negroes, Hispanics, Native Americans, and predominantly Western society, then Western society is really on a lower level than the people out there on in the desert, man. Because if you're out there in the desert as a peasant, okay, and a man trades a goat for a cow or whatever milk for cheese, whatever the barter system dictates within that particular region, that's what you call on the level of being a peasant, okay. But when you're dealing within this so-called Western society, okay, of which this Western society is really being broadened throughout the whole four corners of the earth. So you got people out there within China now; they're getting into the thing of car loans, house loans, and so on and so forth. Okay, that's what really makes them into the slave of Esau's system. And in order to maintain those so-called goodies that they get from Esau, because Esau's the one that's in power right now, they need to maintain that status of being a slave. Okay, that's where the RFID chip comes into it, because now you got access, right? Access to those resources that Esau gives you out. Okay, but now he's gonna make it to where what? Now you're gonna be now you're gonna know you're a slave. That's why you're gonna have a mark on you. Okay, so it says here, but debt is the money of slave. Okay, so let's go into this particular article right here, and then I might hinge back on certain points in scriptures. So it says, when money is free, right, discipline evaporates. And that's why I wanted to go into that scripture here within the book of wisdom of the Solomon, the 5th chapter. Okay, because really when you get into the understanding of the scriptures, you start to wean yourself away from this society and hence its economy, and you put yourself in a better situation, because when this thing goes down, man, and it is gonna go down, right, pretty soon. When this thing goes down, you got the martial law, you got the financial, economic crash, and so on and so forth. When that thing pops off, okay, that's when you're gonna have all kind of chaos, right, popping up all over the place. Okay, is it Wisdom of Solomon? Is it the 6th chapter? It might be the 6th chapter. That's when you're gonna have all types of chaos popping up all over the place, man. Okay, and as a result of having all of that chaos, you're either going to be stable within this truth and in this understanding, and if you are, then you're going to know that that whole system that they're trying to reissue out, the so-called New World Order, is based off of the same principles as the old one, debt and being enslaved underneath Esau and so on and so forth. That you're going to want to rid yourself of that system. Okay, so you're going to be stable in that thing, right? Okay, that's why the scripture says what it says, how that a man is going to be of more wisdom, knowledge, and understanding, was going to be the stability of that times. Okay, so this is the book of Wisdom, Solomon, the 6th chapter, and right, I want to start from. I think I want to start from. There we go. So I want to start from the 13th verse. It says, right, is the 15th verse. So it's to think therefore upon her is perfection of wisdom, and whoso watcheth for her shall quickly be without care. Okay, and being without care, that's going to free you off of that indebtment to the elite banking families, man. That comfortability that comes with this so-called lifestyle, and you're going to be without care. Okay, you're going to be focused upon pushing this truth. Okay, you're going to be a bun. All right, because ultimately, when so-called Nathaniel 7 and so on and so forth is talking about all of the money they have, well, all you got is indebtment. Okay, and that's the reality of the situation. All of these big businesses and so on and so forth, when they go boom and they go bust, well, guess what? They're gonna have a hell of a lot of debt, okay, that they're gonna deal with, okay, and as a result of that, they're gonna be keen on having it to where that RFID chip is gonna be implemented, and they take it so that they could go back to, try to go back to the lifestyles that they've grown accustomed to. That's how we know a lot of them guys out there in the IUIC is gonna take the chip, man. Okay, because they got a certain lifestyle they're trying to keep and trying to appease. Okay, all right. So that when that solution comes to that chaos is gonna break through out here. Remember, the scripture does say a time of Jacob's trouble, man. A lot of people ain't gonna be able to handle that. I can only pray, Yahweh shall put the spirit upon me to where I'm gonna be able to navigate through that situation, man. Right? Because the scripture talks about how you're going to have a time of Jacob's trouble. You're going to have a time where it's known as your hour of temptation. And all of these people talking about you bum camps and so on and so forth. Well, guess what? Them so-called bums that as you would have them, they are without care, man. In other words, they're not attached to the frivolities of this lifestyle. And therefore, when these frivolities of this lifestyle are going to come crushing down as a result of this market crash, okay, they're gonna be without care. They're gonna be focused on what's coming, which is the kingdom of Yahweh Hashem outside. Okay, so as I said, she goeth after, right? She goeth about seeking such as are worthy of her, right? And showeth herself favorably unto them in the ways, and meeteth them in every thought. Okay, it says the very true beginning of her is the desire. All right, the very true beginning of her is the desire of discipline, right? And the care of discipline is love. So the beginning of understanding, all right, the beginning of wisdom is discipline, and that's what you got. You don't have it within this society, okay? You got a bunch of undisciplined fools, all right, parading with great pride, okay, all right, for all of the so-called frivolities that Esau has allowed them to have, all right. Only to take them away so that they're gonna be, so they're gonna be happy, right, being a slave when this chip gets issued out. Okay, so it says money is free, all right. When money is free, discipline evaporates, and when discipline evaporates, decisions are disastrous, and that's what people are doing right now. They're making disastrous decisions on a whim, okay, because it's there apparently, okay, all right. And I say apparently because this article is going to show you, pretty much, the abundance of wealth comes by way of you thinking you're going to be able to pay it off tomorrow, the day after, or whatever, okay, through that debt system that Esau set up, okay, and so decisions become disastrous, man, okay. People, you got a lot of people that make disastrous decisions on them comment boards by way of what? By way of the comfortability that they live. They actually can't see this kingdom being thrown down. That's why the scripture says a gift destroyeth the heart, man. When you have too much, okay, when you have too much, well, guess what? It destroys your mind, okay, especially within this society. So you have money, so them women are coming out. When you gonna study, okay? You ain't gonna think too much of these truth, man. And the scripture also talks about how that when a man was going be desire to be of this truth or get into this truth and so on and so forth, then when the Most High was gonna put that hell upon them, and they so putting that hell upon them, and guess what? They was gonna be refined. They was gonna be detached. They was gonna be without care of this world, man. Okay, it says the possible output of the only possible output of a system lacking any discipline is self-destruction, and that's just such an important statement right there, because that's what you're gonna have. You're gonna have an implosion of a biblical proportion when we're dealing with this so-called economy, man. You're gonna have an implosion of a biblical proportion, okay? But that's what Esau needs to push forth his RFID chip. See, when you're in the know and when you're catching that hell, when you're being called a bum, you can see that. Well, guess what? When you're getting all of them goodies from Esau, okay, right, compromising the doctrine of Yahweh Hashem outside to get them goodies for Esau, guess what? You can't see the magnitude of what's coming out here, man. Okay? Therefore, you're with care. Oh, gotta look after this, that, and the third, build this business up. How is it we got individuals out here, they call themselves Israelites, they're talking about the kingdom of the Most High apparently is coming, okay? And then at the very same time, okay, and I say apparently because that's what they're saying. We know it's coming, okay? But that's what they're saying. And then in the very same statement, in the very same breath, out of the very same mouths, we're talking about setting up a businesses and schools within Esau society. Do you know how long that's going to take, man? Okay? And that's how you know these guys ain't hastening the day. Because if you was hastening the day, you see articles like this, you'd be like, man, God damn it, shit. This is exactly what I needed to see, all right, to reassure myself that these disastrous decisions going to lead to a disastrous, self-destructive economy, and therefore people going to be all out, bugging out, man. That's what the scripture talks about, how that day's going to catch a lot of people unawares. And we're talking about before the missiles hit. We're talking about here before the missiles hit, man. This is what's going to happen. You're going to have chaos by way of the economy, and you're going to get chaos by way of the missiles hitting. And if you get bugged out at either point, okay, or seek a means of a refuge by way of wickedness, well, guess what? That's just not going to cut it, man, with the Yahweh Shim outside. Okay? So it says, whatever is free is squandered. When water is free, it's freely wasted. Okay? When electricity is free, there's no motivation to use it wisely. The same principle holds true for money. Okay? If money is free, or nearly free, then there's no motivation to invest it wisely or consider the opportunities of cost of spending it versus investing it or preserving it as savings. Okay, and that's the mental construct of these people. We got the and they're gonna say, hey, we got them credit cards. Let's go spend it. And a lot of these people got their credit cards maxed out, man. You'd be surprised. You'd be out there at the job, looking sideways at each of them like, God damn it, I do damn near the same job, okay, but he's about, a good, I ain't trying to throw numbers out there, but he's a good proportion out there, more than I am, okay. You be looking at it, you feel some type of way, and then you listen to the conversation that we having. We got it tight, money's tight, and then you're like, wait, hold on a minute. If you're getting paid all of this money and you're still tight, where the hell is the money going? Okay, it's going to living a lifestyle that's way beyond their means, man. Because that's all what is within this society. Pride, covetousness, adultery. Okay? A lot of them are adulterers in them clubs, and that's why it was a good thing that the elder Apostle Tahar put that order out. Okay? Because when you got an abundance of cash, well, guess what? You're going to spend that money to chop your rod off. A gift destroy off the heart. Okay? When you got all of that money, you can decide to do what? You can do all kind of plastic surgery and so on and so forth and put forth confusion, man. Okay? That's what comes about with having more than you need, man. Okay, because if the access to them kind of funds wasn't available, well, guess what? That craziness that Esau's pushing out there, right, with the transgender movement, that will become just an anomalous thing, man. Now you got it to where everybody's doing. Guess what? Because they could borrow 10 grand from the bank. The bank's gonna allow them to have it, okay, and they're gonna spend it on adjusting themselves to being an abomination, man. Okay, that's why the statement here said it says the only possible outcome of a system lacking any discipline is self-destruction, and that's what you're seeing. You're seeing self-destruction. Okay, it says money that can be borrowed for next to nothing is essentially free. Okay, and we don't even need to go into that. I've gone into that on previous videos dealing with the monetary system, how that so-called nearly free money, man. Okay. That's just leading to the end. Well, America's on 20 some odd trillion worth of debt. Okay, that's I think it's a few times more than their GDP. In other words, if they were working every day, everyone putting all their salaries into paying off taxes, they still wouldn't cut it. Okay, so it says because the cost of interest are negligible. Okay, it says money that can be borrowed is virtually unlimited. In virtually unlimited quantities is also free. All right, as whatever funds are squandered or lost to the malinvestment can be easily replaced with more borrowed money. Okay, and that's where it gets sweet. And that's why I say these elite banking families, there's gonna be some of the most craftiest people that have ever existed, because they got these people to actually destroy themselves. Okay, all right. Here it is. You could have. It's like the Matrix. Okay, it's like the Matrix, and you had it to where the architect says, this was the third iteration of this, that, and the third, and we tried, various systems before, but this is gonna be that third or fourth iteration where it's perfect, man, to where you have the free will to destroy yourself. And that's your only option. You have the free will to destroy yourself, and as long as people see that free will, the option, all right, or the feeling, right, that they are allowed to do it by themselves, they're gonna do it, man, and they're gonna be happy doing it. Okay, because you got all of these people doing all of these so-called businesses, they're so-called purchasing these so-called goods and looking down on the middle low because they got these so-called goodies. But when you see and you trace through how they've obtained that, all right, it's by destroying themselves and destroying their own economy, man. Okay? So let's go to the book of Psalms, the 83rd chapter and the 3rd verse, and it says, they have taken crafty counsel against that people. Now, why do I call to this scripture? Because you have to understand, you have to have a keen understanding of human psychology to do what the elite banking families have done. Okay? Essentially, what they've done is they've studied human psychology and seen what people's behavior was going to be. Okay, when you make money next to available, when you have a debt that's easily available and accessible to everybody, they was going to squander to it. They was going to run to it. Okay, and that's what they have done. Okay, and it says, and they've consulted against the hidden ones. They have come and said, let us cut them off from being a nation, because ultimately all of this goes back onto what? Onto the Israelites. Okay, to destroy the Israelites, because the people that are looking for that comfortability the most, all right, is the Negroes, Hispanics, Native Americans. They want compensatory reparation for the enslavement that they've been, and they're going to try to obtain that by indebting themselves, okay, by destroying the same economy that they're saying that they're upholding, all right, which goes to show you a lot of people have no idea what's going on around them, man. All right, so it says, they have said, come, let us cut them off from being a nation, that the name of Israel may no more be in remembrance. Okay, so let's go back onto this article right quick, and I'm going to close out in a second, because pretty much the point's been made. You can read the rest of the article yourself. It's pretty much a good article to get into. All right, so it says, because the cost of interests are negligible, money that can be borrowed is in virtually unlimited quantity